You are my enslavement and my freedom. You are my flesh burning like a raw summer night. You are my country. "1908, Kingdom of Sardland. You opened your eyes to this world you came from. You came from a wealthy family in the city of Lockhaven, a middle-income family in the city of Hosward, or an impoverished family in the city of Dyer. Where'd we come from? And it's 1908. Ow. Why are you so violent? Ah. Really? Okay. Let's go with middle income. Your parents named you Anton. As the only child of the diligent civil servant, you lived quite an ordinary childhood. Life was not bad. You were lucky enough to attend a well-known public school, but fights break out frequently at the Rain family home. These made you feel uneasy. The years passed. Really? Are you... Girl. She's so demanding. She woke up on the feisty side of bed. You know, I just got done saying y'all were sleeping, right? The years passed. Oh! That was loud. September 9th, 1923. Thank you for the raider. During a history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside. As everyone tried to figure out what was going on, the principal announced the historic revolution. The kingdom was no more. The Republic of Sorland was born. You did not fully understand. You were happy that you had a day off. You were somewhat worried. Yeah, that's Lacey. She is... I want to say 11. We've had her for 11 years when we rescued her. We took the day off. After 1926. After graduating, you passed a university exam with high marks. You had the opportunity to choose between several studies. You chose law at the Holsword State University, economics at the Lachaverne Business School, or history at the Dyer University of Culture. So this is 3 years after the formation of the Republic. History, economics, or law? I forgot what school we went to. We were middle class, so we weren't rich, so I don't think we went to law. So, let's go with business school. During the first year, you attend a lecture with David Wishy. He was a well-known diplomat for a foreign ministry and the son of the president. After observing the hall in silence, he explained why a market economy is the better option for Saarland. He argued for a system where prices for goods and service are determined by an open market. You agreed in principle, you questioned what you were being taught. Your only concern was passing the exam. Let's question them. May 22nd, 1927. Soldiers entered the campus in the evening ahead of the first election. Many in Many were in shock as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students started gathering in protest. Along with your best friend, Peter Vector, you decided to protest with the student, avoid any confrontation. Well, I can't graduate if everybody's going to jail, so we're going to protest. Ow! One of the officers made a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. Yeah, I heard. General Suzerain declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You joined the students that slowly marched towards a large group of soldiers. Suddenly, the soldiers charged. Uh-oh. Got 5 minutes, 47 seconds to get your raiders in. A student fell and was trampled as everybody started running away. Let's hold our ground. The soldiers beat you relentlessly. It was a gloomy year. The majority of the students and teachers displayed their opposition. Thus, Lechaborn became the target of the military regime. You didn't want to stay idle and decided to join a human rights group, a student council, a political debate group. What are you doing, baby? I guess we can go with human rights group. I don't want to do political. Well, the group heavily protested against the deteriorating human rights situation in Suzerain. You contributed through discussion on how to protect and expand freedoms. In one of the meetings, Peter introduced you to one of his friends, Monica, who is a volunteer for the Swordfish League of Women. You were immediately attracted to her intelligence, her beauty, her diligence. What are you doing? Oh, the kitten's over there. Intelligence. The politically charged environment led you to join the Red Youth, the Socialist. Join the Young Swords, the Nationalist. Or stay away from any political organization. I think we'll just stay away from political organizations. It might be safe. Ow! The radio relayed to the communist general Ricard Surround. Lutheran and his troops demanding their surrender. They refused, and heavy fighting broke out across the country. You just couldn't believe it. The army was fighting amongst themselves. Suzerain plunged into chaos. That's June 2nd, 1928. The clashes escalated into a full-blown civil war. The horrors made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope, and love grew between the two of you. However, it is a difficult time for love. The chaos must end. The charismatic colonial Tarquin Sol orchestrated a sudden attack and brought an end to the war. He wrote a new constitution and restored stability. The people saw him as a savior. He formed the United Sworland Party and ran as a presidential candidate in the first ever election. You voted for the United Sworland Party. You did not vote. Okay, so what's today? Monday. Tomorrow I'm supposed to go vote. So most of this state does not vote, which is not good. USP won the election by a large majority. After graduation, you kept seeing Monica and noticed her interest to marry. However, a letter arrived from the military calling you to fulfill your compulsory service. It was time to serve your national duty. I'm watching the clock. Got a minute 40 to get your raiders in. February 30th. Burgi region. A devastating civil war broke out in the neighboring country, Willen. The distinguished Major Isov Alessia ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. It was a very cold winter night when you began marching out of the Gumrin outpost. You could see your breath. That sounds cold. Ow! Thank you for the raider. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm the source. The squads crawled forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees had made it beyond the border fence. You escort them back or let them slip through. We got 30. All right, so we can escort them back or let them slip through. Let's escort them back. The refugees were in despair when they realized that you were taking them back to the border. Screams and protests ensued as they were restrained. You delivered them to the border guards. After several months of military service, your duties ended and you went back to the civilian life. That's loud. 1931. You and Monica decided to share your lives together. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held in Holsword. During the same year, you were offered a high-paying job at the governing United Swordland Party. It was important to start your career on a good foot, so you accepted it. Working for the ruling party was the easiest path to power. The financial compensation was too great to pass. It was the best opportunity to change the country for the better. Change the country for the better. You became the economics assistant to one of the more experienced members of Assembly. You worked long and hard, staying late at night, investigating hundreds of pages of economic reports. You were climbing the ladder. Sol strengthened the Republic by removing the institutions and symbols of the former kingdom from society. Things were also looking up for the country as a massive economic boom continued. The people were the happiest they had been in a decade. Election time came and it was decided. President Tarquin Sol was elected once more. The new 5-year plan and the subsequent work regarding finances put you under a lot of pressure. But your significant contribution to the economical strategy triggered an invitation to meet President Tarquin Sol himself, who offered you a key position. You were to become the youngest member of the Assembly. You accepted right away. You accepted with the doubts. Well, by thinking about it, it looks like I'm accepting with doubts. As the June 1938. As the youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with the influential inner circle. You needed allies, so you brought Peter as your right-hand man. The birth of your son, Frank, provided a brief moment of joy and relief. You sacrifice work to spend time with your family, sacrifice family to improve your position in the party. Ooh. We're going to sacrifice work to spend time with your family. Although this is in 30s, so it was probably the either way. We're going to do sacrifice work. During your absence, Peter found trustworthy contacts and strengthened your position in the party. Thank you, Peter. At the same time, President Sol increased his authority over the years. His growing ego started to cause strife with the party. cracks begin to show. President Sol barely secured a majority of the election against the opposition leader. Over the past year, people were growing discontent with corruption and the worsening quality of life. Meanwhile, calls from the United Sorland Party Congress became louder as the leadership struggles start to brew. You, watched from the sidelines, kept supporting the president, joined the internal opposition. We'll join the internal opposition. No coffee and no knives. You gave your support to Ewald Alfonso, a reformist and talented business magnate, who was the main contender for party leadership. Meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes before the Congress, President Sol was meeting party members one by one. But he didn't approach you. Oh. The party Congress has nothing short of impressive. The banners of the United Sorland were decorating every possible spot. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, and benefactors gathered for this turning point. The voting for the party leadership began. Did you find any good sales? Bless you. Will I feel better soon? Don't bet on it. Wow! We'll vote for Ewald. The efforts bore fruit as the continuous leadership vote was won by Ewald Alfonso. During the Congress, Sol announced his retirement from politics. You knew the structure he had established was to stay. The country had become increasingly authoritarian. You were happy that Sol was finally leaving. You were troubled that by the departure of Sol, you didn't care about who was in charge. We're gonna be happy because we didn't want him to win. Thank you for the raider. October 5th, 1946. A month later, your daughter was born. Monica named her Deanna. She motivated you during a tumultuous period in the party. The general elections were approaching. The United Sorland Party was under the new leadership of Ewald Alfonso. You joined the party efforts and campaigned for him. Did your best not to help him. We'll help him. 1949. During the general election, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary. He was replaced by a strong opposition figure, Franz Rector, but the damage had been done. The extensive privatization program proposed by Ewald Alfonso secured an election victory for the United Sorland Party. Over the next years, you did your best to make Sorland a better place, tried all that was necessary to climb up the ladder, dedicated yourself to the party and its success. We tried to climb the ladder. Ladder has more money. Well, let's try to make this place a better place. The presidency of Ewald Alfonso saw many bold reforms, but was followed by a serious economical recession. The other parties announced their bids for the 1953 election, but the unfair system hampered all opposition efforts to win. You thought that your party could not survive another crisis. Thank you for the raider. We got 20 minutes and 11 seconds. You were worried about the economic recession, worried that the reputation would be tarnished, along with Alfonso. We could not survive another crisis. Together with Peter, your presence in the USP grew, and you became the face of the new wing of the party. This face? You effectively took over the leadership as President Alfonso lost control of the country. The moment to make to make a move had come. Thank you for the raider. You blamed Alfonso for the crisis on television. You bribed and extorted Alfonso's inner circle. You advised Alfonso to step down. Ah! Let's see if we can advise him to step down. January 1953. He didn't take your advice seriously and started to reshuffle his cabinet, but most of his inner circle abandoned him. Your diplomatic attitude made the party vote you in as the leader. Following this, you announced that you would be running. So we won the election. Oh, we're running for president now. Okay. Thank you for the bets. You could have gave those bits to lots of people, and I got them. Yay. October 1953, my birthday month. Well, not the year. After visiting every city and town during the campaign, you made a speech on state television. You promised to enact democratic reforms or preserve national values. Ooh. Oh boy. That clip was to catch my buddy doing the ooh thing. I'm gonna make it a blurb somehow. Or if they go on your channel, you could have it as a walk-in command form. We got 16.5 minutes to get your raiders on the battlefield. We'll do democratic reforms. Oh, I like that idea. A monk is Roman. Hey, people are tired of empty promises. We need fundamental change in our institution and government. A solid and transparent democracy awaits us, brothers and sisters. A new constitution and a new age is upon us. The broadcast ended. We're all gonna die. November 5th, 1953. On election day, millions went out to cast their votes. It was time to face the truth. I win because it's a video game, so